Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
It's time! Seconds from game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead! Behind the screen, Harper got a piece of it, it comes off. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship. Tying run at second, 2 out, Pompero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
To the far side around the 8-yard line to Hester. Under it, and to the middle of the 15, to the 20, breaks free of the 25, to the 30, to the outside, 40, midfield, 40, 30 on the coast, 20, 15, Hester 5. Oh!
For the 3rd time in 6 seasons, it's one goal achieved. The Chicago Blackhawks win the Stanley Cup. A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it toward Rizzo. It's in time, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to ShawnSierraSports on Sports Zone Chicago. I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us on our Facebook channel, excellent! If you're not subscribed to our Facebook channel, for real, come on, go to Facebook, type in, our YouTube channel. Go to our YouTube channel, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the subscribe button, but also click the notification button. That's the little bell next to it, and that'll let you know anytime a show from Sports Zone Chicago is going live. Get it? Got it? Good. Now you can also tweet the show. Tweet us at Sports Zone Shy. That's CHI at Sports Zone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me personally online. Want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I tried to do. Try to make it nice and easy for you folks, but them damn hackers jacked me up. All right, on Facebook, which I still don't have access to, is Shawn.Sierra.2025. On Twitter, I'm at ShawnSierra33, but on Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok, I am still at the Shawn Sierra. Listen, I got a great show, but I need you to get interactive. So if you have a question or comment on the YouTube page where you're watching, it'll come up here in the thread. We'll put it up on the screen. We'll incorporate it into the show. And that, my peoples, is what makes this the best morning Chicago sports talk show around. And that's you. So bring them all, baby. Questions, comments, smart-ass remarks, because ain't nobody scared over here. Like The Rock said, baby, don't sing it. Just bring it. Let's check the chat, because the chat is jumping. Mr. Southside himself is in the house. Said, what up on a hump day? Bear down. Southside, stand up. FGB. That's what I'm talking about, Michonne. That's what I'm talking about. My man Cornelius Squalls checking in. Top of the morning, Shawn and Sports Owners. The big man is back. Bear down. Let's go. 4 years, $116 million. Wow. Happy for him. He's a great dude. I've interviewed him a couple times in the locker room. Just a really talk about like a gentle giant. That's him until he gets on the field, and then you're done. He's gonna snowplow you into the first row. Levette Lee checking in. What's up, Ma? Good morning. She's like, it's hump day. Mr. Shorty is in the house coming to us from the ATL. Mr. Shorty, what's up, buddy? Thanks, man, for tuning in. I appreciate you. No, Levette. Go Cubs. Go Cubs, no. No Cubs, no. That's what we're doing. Shorty, FGB. Yes, sirree, Bob. That's it, FGB. All right, listen. I don't know a lot about a lot, but I do know this. More than the usual. Suspects will chime in as the show goes on. That, my peoples, I can promise you. All right. Hey, guys, I got a great show for you, but woo-hoo. Hee. Listen. What are you doing here? Wow, hold on. Yes. Aha, my man. Black Diamond is in the house. It's top of the morning, gang. FGB. FGB, always, baby. Always. Speaking of FGB, just saw this. According to the Sun Times Wire, you know I get my Sun Times every day. It says Parsons likely out week 5 versus the Bears. Packers edge rusher Micah Parsons, who tore his ACL and meniscus in his left knee on December 14th against the Broncos, doesn't know exactly when he will be cleared to play in a game this season, but he has his eyes set on week 6 matchup against his former team, the Cowboys, on October 18th at Lambeau Field. He underwent surgery on December 29th, and doctors gave him a strict 9-month no football directive, meaning the first time he could do anything football related would be on September 29th after the Packers' first 2 games. He's expected to start the season on the PUP list. Means he can start practicing after 2 games, but won't be eligible to play until after missing 4 games. And the Packers' first game against the Bears is week 5, October 11th at Lambeau. So, don't get me wrong. I'd like to face him as well. But if we don't, oh well. Injuries are part of the game. We had to deal with them. Even in our amazing season last year, we had to deal with injuries. Okay, let's not get it twisted. Don't forget, we had Jaquan Brisker played all 17 games, which was awesome. But Kevin Byard was out. All right, our whole linebacking core was out. Remember, we had DeMarco Jackson, who actually won Defensive Player of the Week, NFC Defensive Player of the Week. Okay, some of our defensive linemen were hurt. So this is all part of the game. I have no sympathy for them. They're Green Bay. They're backwoods, cousin kissing, cow tipping mother hubbards, and I could care less about them. Couldn't care less about them, I should say. And so if one of their star players is hurt, Nimolo, it's part of the game. Next man up. Because that's what was told to us. That's what was expressed to us whenever we said, hey, well, we lost. We were playing without this guy. They're like, well, next man up. Okay, no problem. Well, next man up. Next man up. So I don't wish him ill will. I'm not. All I'm saying is if he's not ready for the Bears week 5, oh well. Oh well. It's not my clown, it's not my circus. So bump them. Bump them. That's all I gotta say about those jokers. Yeah, but Cornelius, he was his conditioning wasn't there. Don't get me wrong. And I mean, I know he didn't do much against us, but let's keep it a buck. You had to make sure you knew where he was at. He's that type of player. Whether he's in shape or not, who knows how quickly he can recover. All right, maybe one particular play he gets some good recovery and he can make a play. All right, let's not. I know he's a Packer, but keeping it a buck, you know that dude is one hell of a player. Okay, and I'm glad we re-signed Darnell Wright. I'm excited to see this left tackle position battle and see how it plays out. Because I'm telling you who my guy is. And no disrespect to Braxton Jones anywhere. At all. No disrespect to Braxton Jones. I do hope that Jedrick Wills wins that job. I just think that Braxton Jones will have another opportunity because he's made the most with the one he's had. But I just want top-notch talent protecting. You know, somebody mentioned to me, they said, and this was funny. There is no disrespect to Braxton Jones. It's not the usual no disrespect. It's a smoke belly checking in. Oh, someone had mentioned to me, this was back in the Justin Fields days, and they said they said something like, well, what did you want to do? I mentioned about him not running at Ohio State. And they said, well, Ohio State had the best talent in the country. Is that what you want us to do? Do we need to have the best talent in the NFL? And I was like, no, but pretty damn close to it. And that's what we're doing. All right, we got 2 free agents. We got Pro Bowlers at the left guard position. Jordan Jackson, I believe, was a Pro Bowler at one particular point. Darnell Wright, Pro Bowler. Second team all NFL, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Center played in the Super Bowl last year. We have the top center in college now backing him up. Yeah, I'd like a first round left tackle. I like great talent when we can get it. And it also and again, Braxton Jones has done a phenomenal job with his skill set. He's limited in the fact that he's not bottom heavy. So the bull rush has always been an issue with him, although it has, before he got injured, he had worked on it and got stronger. But as I've told you before, when you're a first-round offensive lineman when you're drafted in the first round, that's a special person. When you're an offensive tackle drafted in the top 10, that's a very special person. Okay, the kid went to Alabama. It's not like he went to Southwest Texas State. The kid went to Alabama, started there, and became a top 10 pick. So I'd love to see him max out his potential, because there's certain things that those types of players who are drafted in the top 10, it could be like top 12, top 15, because there's a lot of different. But you know what I'm saying? When you're drafted that high, there's something special about those players, and I want to see that dude. And I wish Braxton Jones the best. I really do. I interviewed him a couple times in the locker room, and he was gracious with his time, because it was usually after a loss. But he was very gracious with his time. But his skill set will work great for a lot of teams. So that's my shtick. That's my 2 cents. At 9:50, he's got a little bit of a time constraint. So at 9:50, we're going to go 9:50 to about 10:10. My man Lauren Cox, he is the host of the Locked On Bears podcast, is going to join us. We're talking Bears with our guy Lauren at 9:50. He's got to be somewhere at yeah. Oh, yeah. That's funny. King Vocal World, that's funny. I know, bro. Sorry about that. They see something special in you, book. They see something special in you. So we're going to talk about we're going to talk about the Bears with our guy Lauren. But we also have a lot to talk about in these series that our teams are playing. The White Sox are in Beantown. Got their asses handed to them last night. The Cubs are hosting the team with the best record in baseball, and the Dodgers going for the sweep with a big win, solid win yesterday over their newly signed or traded for, not signed, newly traded for free agent pitcher Tarek Skubal. And they just wore him down. They wore him down. If the Cubs can continue to do things like that, just have a good approach at the plate, solid at bats, go deep in the counts, they have a chance. And listen, I get here's one thing you got to remember. Cub fans, I'm not raining on your parade. You got a great chance to sweep the two-time defending world champion Los Angeles Dodgers in your place. But it's August. Okay? It's August. This is not down the stretch. This is not the playoffs. Okay? This is not that. So take it with a grain of salt. Take it as a win. As you still trying to catch Milwaukee. But let's be honest. The playoffs are a different animal. The playoffs are a completely different animal. And this team that you're facing now is a team that is this is a team that has survived 2 consecutive playoff runs to win the World Series. That's a difficult task. And I get it. They got a whole shitload of players. They signed a whole bunch of studs. They deferred money. It's like mid to late 2030s. Okay? So they can sign all these players. Cool. But you still got to play the game. You still have to get up there and bat. And you still have to make plays when available. And they did it. Okay, I know you got Mookie Betts. I know you got Freddie Freeman. I know you got Shohei Ohtani. I know you got Kike Hernandez. I know you have but they still need to perform. And they've done it twice. So, just giving you a dose of reality. It's nice that you beat them, and it can give you confidence if you go in the playoffs and meet them. But don't get it twisted. They're still the defending two-time world champion Los Angeles Dodgers. That postseason is another beast. Get there, face them, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And I'm not saying you can't win. Of course you can. But let's just not let's not give them the World Series crown just yet because they have a chance to sweep the Dodgers. The Dodgers just got swept by Boston, if I'm not mistaken. I know Boston's the hottest team in baseball. They handed it to us yesterday. But that'll change today. We just watch. But I'm happy for you guys as much as I can be because you're Cub fans. But let's take it with a grain of salt. It's August. They're on cruise control. Okay? That's literally what it is. You could say it's right, it's wrong, and it's not how they should be. I don't care what you say. The fact is they're on cruise control. Okay? They're not getting amped up. They're not getting fired up until the playoffs. Dude, they are 9 games ahead in their division. They have the second best record in baseball by 1 loss. They have 1 more loss than the Brewers. Okay? They're cruising. So listen. The Crooked Commission's in the house. What's up, baby? Checking in from the AZ. Say good morning, Shawn. I have new hope for my Cubs now that we have a whole new pitching rotation. It was damn good to see us. Oh, see us beat the Dodgers last night. Not just the Dodgers, Tarek Skubal too. Don't worry about that. Don't forget. Don't worry about that. Don't forget about that. Yeah. But let's get it crack-a-lacking, baby. You know how we do the first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning.
She won't come just when you want it.
Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
See, which way do we go? Which way do we go? Which way do we go? We'll start here. Man, that was a tough one. Ooh, Charlie, that was a tough one. My good guys from the South Side got pummeled by the Red Sox 14-2. Ouch! Davis Martin, who I have a lot of concerns for right now, he got the loss. He's 9-6 on the season. 5 innings, 10 hits, 9 earned runs, 2 walks. 1 strikeout. Colson Montgomery, 1 for 3 with an RBI, his 21st. Miguel Vargas with his 67th RBI on the season. There really wasn't much to talk about yesterday for the good guys, and that was it. Staying with the good guys. All right, the White Sox take on Boston tonight, game 2 of the 3-game set. First pitch is at 6:10 p.m. Central. You can catch that game on Chicago Sports Network or listen to it on their flagship station, ESPN 1000. That's 1000 a.m. The probables for tonight's game, our new ace, Sean Burke, is on a bump for the good guys. He's 7-5 with a 3.04 ERA, and he's going up against Sonny Gray for the Carmines with an impressive 13-2 record with a 2.93 ERA. So we have one heck of a pitching matchup tonight. It's going to be a good one. I can't wait to check that out tonight. It's going to be dope. The trade deadline was Monday, 5 p.m. The White Sox made some moves. All right, they made some moves beforehand. Okay, if you recall, all right, the White Sox signed Luis Castillo. Okay, we talked about that on Monday, but they made some more moves at the deadline. They signed right-handed reliever Huascar Brazoban from the Mets. They traded for him to shore up the bullpen. Okay, they also traded for Joey Bart, catcher from the San Francisco Giants. That Kyle Teal thing is definitely something that's gotten their attention. Kyle Teal with a high ankle sprain. Then he signed Gold Glove outfielder, center fielder Brenton Doyle. They traded for him from the Colorado Rockies. And they did that for defense and defense only because he is not very good at the plate. He's literally an offensive liability. But in the field, Gold Glove winning talent. Gold Glove winning talent. So let's do this. Let's keep it moving. The next top of the morning topic. The Cubs. There you go, you psychos. The Cubs, they beat the Dodgers 5-1 yesterday. Javier Assad, he got the start. He got a no decision. He went 5 2/3, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Dansby Swanson, 3 for 4. A double, his 14th. Game tying homer early on. They were down 1-0. He tied it at 1 with his 17th homer of the season, driving in his 62nd run of the year. Nico Horner, he is hot. That young man is 2 for 4 with his 7th homer of the year, driving in his 52nd and 53rd RBIs of the campaign. PCA, 2 for 4. He drove in his 65th RBI of the year. Now, Cubs. Tonight, the Cubs host the Dodgers again. Not tonight. Today, the Cubs host the Dodgers this afternoon at Wrigley Field. First pitch is at 1:20 p.m. Central. The probables for tonight's game for the Dodgers. Eric Lauer's on the bump. He's 6-5 with a 4.50 ERA, going up against Shota Imanaga, who's 7-9 with a 3.67 ERA for the Northsiders. And let me tell you something. It'd be very inspiring. It'll give the Cubs a lot of confidence should they face the Dodgers in the postseason. Well, they already beat them 2 out of 3, but you sweep them. It gives you a little more oomph, a little more confidence and self-belief. You know what I mean? When you beat a team 3 times, when you sweep them 3 times, it gives you a lot more confidence. And they know. They're not stupid. They realize this is the defending world champs. They realize that this series in August, for all intents and purposes, means nothing. But they have the belief now that they can beat them. And that's all you need is to believe in yourself. That's what you need. And that's what they have. So, the next top of the morning topic, let's not get it twisted. The Cubs were very active at the trade deadline as well. Remember, they signed Kevin Gausman, or they traded for Kevin Gausman from Toronto before the deadline. But then Jed Hoyer went to work. Lord have mercy, did Jed Hoyer go to work? Ryan Zephyr John, he was in the game yesterday. They traded for him from the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Braxton Garrett, they traded for him from the Marlins, left-handed pitcher. Tyrone Taylor, outfielder, they traded for the Mets. And the coup de grace, the guy that I wanted the White Sox to get. The White Sox actually, if you remember, I reported on it. The White Sox actually sent a scout to see this guy in his rehab start, Clay Holmes, right-handed pitcher for the Cubs. He will go right atop that rotation. Maybe number 2. I don't think number 1. Maybe number 2. But you guys got a frontline starter in Clay Holmes. You know what, Jed? Great freaking work, Jed Hoyer. God, I wanted the White Sox to get Clay Holmes. Man. Telling you. I wanted the White Sox to get Clay Holmes. That was the dude. Remember, they sent about a week and a half ago, they sent a scout out to one of his rehab starts. And he was being rumored to a couple teams, but the White Sox were one of those teams, and I was hoping that the White Sox would be able to come to nab this guy and make a trade for this guy. But Chris Getz said he did not want to trade any of his top 10 prospects, and he didn't. He didn't. And there's a really weird, I shouldn't say weird. There's a thought process here. Okay. You don't trade your top 10 prospects. Okay. My question is why? And bear with me. Go with me on this one. You have, okay, I get Rock Chalowski. Yeah. But you have a couple other people in your organizations, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, or 10, that should be movable. And here's why. A lot of our top prospects are infielders. Not all, some. We are jam-packed at the infield position. Chase Mydroth is our second baseman. He's not going to shortstop. He's not going to outfield. He's not going to first base. He's not going to catcher. He's stuck at second base. This is his second year in the league. Colson Montgomery is our shortstop. And we just drafted Rock Chalowski, another shortstop. This is Colson's second year in the league. Miguel Vargas is our third baseman. Now, there are rumors that, or just rumblings, that you move Colson Montgomery to third, where he's played this year, so Rock Chalowski can play short. And you can platoon or alternate DH with Miguel Vargas and our other young first baseman at 25 years old, Munetaka Murakami. So our infield is set. 25 is the oldest infielder we have. So if you have a guy who's down there, maybe the number 6th or 7th or 8th top prospect who's an infielder, why do we need him? Why do we need him? Because if, say, once Rock comes up and say Rock gets injured, he's out for a while. Well, guess what? You can put Colson Montgomery back at shortstop, put Miguel Vargas back, and now you're good. So to not trade one of these guys who's literally blocked, to not trade one of those guys for quality arm that you need, and maybe it's not even a rental. See, the higher the prospect, the more you can go after a guy who's under control, a good player who's under control. Teams will be willing to give you guys that are under control if you give them a top 10 prospect. Because it's not like we have a shortstop who's in his 7th year, 8th year. And like, okay, he might be getting a little older, making a little too much money or whatever, and we could kind of see him moving. Or is that the reason? Is that the reason that you didn't trade him? Because you do not want to pay these people. So when their time is up and they start outliving their rookie deals, you can trade them. You have a lot of value. You bring back top prospects in the minors, and now you bring the ones you have in the minors, you bring them up, and now you keep acting like Kansas City and Tampa. Is that why you wouldn't trade a top 10 prospect? Because you want to keep operating on the cheap? My question. We'll talk more about this later because I don't know. Not enough depth in the outfield and Sox system. Okay. You don't have to trade any outfielders if you know what I mean. If we have any in the top 10, we have enough infielders in the top 10 that could have been moved. We'll talk about this. Yeah, I just went through this one. The next topic, this one's huge. Huge. The Bears. extend right tackle extraordinaire Darnell Wright to a 4-year, $116 million deal, the highest salary ever for a right tackle in the history of the NFL. 4 years, $116 million, $93 million guaranteed. I tell you, I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. I love it. This guy is snowplow, a road grader, and him and Jonah Jackson on that right side was a strength. If you had to, and I think our offensive line was good, right side and both sides. But when it just seemed like when they needed that heavy that 1 yard, they went right. They went to the right side. And those guys, Jonah Jackson, we just signed in free agency last year. And now Darnell Wright gets his money because they move people. Happy for this young man. Highest paid right tackle in NFL history. Such a good young man. Generational wealth. $93 million guaranteed. Man. Dope. Couldn't have happened to a nicer young man, I'm telling you. He's just a cool dude. As I said, I've interviewed him a few times in the locker room. And again, those was 2 years ago and 3 years ago, and those were usually losses. But great stuff. I'm happy for this guy. And then this one is for my man Rick Gonzalez, who I don't think he's checked in. Rick, the Sky. The Chicago Sky hosts the LA Sparks tonight at Wintrust Arena. Tip-off is at 8 p.m. Central. You can catch that game, Rick, on the U, on USA Cable, or CNBC. How they got on CNBC, I have no idea. You can catch them on the U, USA Network, or CNBC tonight. Just for my guy Rick, because he loves the Sky. We're going to take a real quick break. On the other side of the break, we're going to welcome my man Lauren Cox from the Locked on Bears podcast. Talk about training camp, the Bear stuff. So don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here. Shawn Sierra Sports on Sports Zone Chicago.
Operator 901, where's the emergency?
127 Brynmere.
Okay, what's going on there?
I'd like to order a pizza for delivery.
Ma'am, you've reached 911. This is an emergency line.
Large with half pepperoni, half mushrooms.
You know you've called 911. This is an emergency
Do you
line.
know how long it'll be?
Okay, ma'am, is everything okay over there? Do you have an emergency or not?
Yes.
And you're unable to talk because...
Right.
Okay, is there someone in the room with you? Just say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, it looks like I have an officer about a mile from your location. Are there any weapons in your house?
No.
Can you stay on the phone with me?
No. See you soon. Thank you.
Every day we take
few things about training camp that just get me going. The first one is our team. Obviously, this is our chance to forge our identity. And a lot of coaches come up and they say we're going to be this, we're going to be that, and the other, and yet this is where it all happens. This is we got a whole different group of guys than we did a year ago, and this is where it gets fun. Is call it half the roster was here, half the roster is new. There's a lot of getting to know each other. And yet, it's a chance for us to create a new chapter of Chicago Bears football, the 2026 version. Get healthy. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we stocked back up in that DB room again, and we'll see how it all plays out. And there'll be certain players that certainly flash here, and we'll give them opportunities to run with the ones. While Kyler's out, and we'll see where it goes from there. But we have a lot of options from rookies all the way to some of these veteran players, the free agents that we brought in. I think we're gonna have a healthy competition.
Welcome back to ShawnSierraSports on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of the Chicago Bears. That was Ben Johnson, right as training camp started, and some of those options have vanished, have been exhausted. And we're going to talk to my next guest about some of those options. He is a good friend of the program. He is the host of the Locked On Bears podcast. You can find him on Twitter at Cox Sports One. It's like Fox Sports One, but with a C. So welcome back to ShawnSierraSports, our guy, Lauren Cox. Lauren, what's up, buddy? Good morning. How are you?
Hey, man. Doing well. Glad to be here.
Excellent. Glad to have you, man. Glad to have you. We got a lot to talk and not a lot of time, so let's get to it. Bears, training camp. We've already suffered a casualty, and that really hurt. Kobe Bryant out. Talk to me about what that does in the secondary. They're already thin, a couple people, and also Terrell Smith was carted off that same day. Talk to me about the state of the secondary of our Chicago Bears.
Yeah, it feels like Kobe Bryant was one of those players who might be the most impactful injury you could pick out of any individual player. I mean, you could debate Montez Sweat or maybe a couple others, but like when he goes out, it has this ripple effect across the defense where now you have to take safety Cam Lewis, who was maybe your top option in the slot, while Kyler Gordon is hurt, and move him back to more of a safety role. You take Kobe Bryant's mentorship away from Dylan Thieneman, at least being out on the field together, and then all of a sudden you put Jalen Jones or Malik Muhammad in the slot, and it also kind of ripples farther where this idea of the offseason was, hey, the Bears didn't sign any new big-name pass rushers to bolster that group. The big idea was, hey, we're going to coach them better, but then also you're going to cover better on the back end to then give the pass rush more time to get to the quarterback because the quarterback's holding onto the ball a little bit longer because you're covering better, but all of a sudden you take out your best new coverage piece and your prized free agent signing of the offseason. That makes your coverage worse, which then makes your pass rush worse and undoes some of the plan to help find some improvement in that group up front. So it just feels like one injury ends up affecting a bunch of positions across the defense, as opposed to like, an injury at linebacker or something that still would hurt, but wouldn't have such a widespread ripple effect.
Yeah, and you're right, it does. And it's detracting a lot because the thing that you mentioned that I thought was most important was his mentorship to Adam Thieneman. All right. That young man, I've been adamant about coaching. Okay. There's a pretty smart guy who at one point said coaching matters. Fact is, you can coach and still be a player. And that's what mentorship is for all intents and purposes. So now you're taking that away. And what I've said ad nauseum is when you go to another level, grammar school to high school to college to pro, the most impactful coaching you get is that first year. So he was going to have Al Harris as deep, but you also have now a Pro Bowl, Super Bowl winning champion mentoring you as well. So he still has Al Harris, but that mentorship is gone. So it's going to take an effect, and that sucks because we got rid of a lot of people in that secondary. We got rid of a lot of interceptions. in the Kevin Byard and the Nashawn Wrights of the world, and we need them to step up. Not that I needed them to duplicate the amount of picks that they had, because that would be tough. But I need them to play a very sound secondary and not make mistakes, and that's where it really falls in. Can that be alleviated by maybe a better pass rush, better coaching? How can we do that now that we have this guy? Our highest priced free agent on the sideline.
Yeah, I mean, the hope is that, Dennis Allen can dial some things up from a coverage standpoint with these safeties that he wasn't able to last year. Jaquan Brisker is a little bit more of a true box safety that can play deep, but isn't necessarily his specialty and not necessarily somebody that you're going to put one-on-one with a receiver in the slot all the time. And when you've got Dylan Thieneman and versatility with Cam Lewis as well, filling in for Kobe Bryant, like those are both guys who can go down the slot, can play in the box, can play deep, and that maybe you can disguise things a little bit more because it'll be a little bit less obvious or apparent to the quarterback pre-snap that, before you could kind of have a good idea that Brisker's probably going to be in the box. Kevin Byard's probably going to be deep if it's any kind of single deep safety coverage, and that it's harder to sort of disguise or fool or trick a quarterback into where your safeties are going to be lining up and where they're going to be covering. But now if that quarterback has to hold the ball an extra half second because, well, your slot cornerback, turns out he's running deep to be the free safety, and then a linebacker's running over to the slot, and then the strong safety's kind of running into the box, like however they kind of move the guys around post snap makes that quarterback have to take the extra half second to confirm what coverage he thought they were in and what coverage they actually are in. And maybe in that even just extra half a second, that's the difference between Montez Sweat getting a hand on him or not getting a hand on him and disrupting that play from there. But it's asking a lot because your cornerbacks are going to need to stay healthy and cover too. Like your safety the safety rotation can't just cover everything, right? You've still had to have the rest of your guys in coverage actually, holding on and sticking and not being second and third string guys like we saw last year with all the injuries they had.
Yeah. I am concerned a little bit about this D-line. Talk to me. I am not a big fan of Montez Sweat. I need him to step up. I want him to do better. All right. I want him to be more productive. And one could argue 10 sacks is productive. And I could say, yes, but those are quote unquote calories. Don't tell me how many you get. Tell me when you get them. All right. You sacked the quarterback on the first series of a game. Great. Excellent. It's not as impactful as this third down and a drive where they're coming trying to score or take the lead or win the game. That's not as impactful. I need him in those impactful moments. What is your thought about Montez Sweat? Do you think he steps up with the people on the other side, who are pretty much unproven, and Austin Booker, who's had improvement the last couple of years, Dayo Odengbo, who's healthy now? Do you think that this defensive end group can rush the passer better this season?
I think they can rush the passer better this season, but there's almost nowhere to go but up. Right?
Very true.
I think the pass rush will be better, but better doesn't necessarily mean good, or it's a question of can they be good enough? And there's a maybe. I mean, I'm willing to sit there and say, hey, Grady Jarrett was probably never all that healthy after the first games of the season. So if he's healthier this season, he can be better. Certainly, you never got to see full strength what Dayo Odengbo was supposed to become for this defensive line, and as those guys get back to even just a baseline level of play, that will represent improvement for that group. But it does feel like they're kind of banking on some kind of miracle here of either Austin Booker emerges as this great pass rusher that we've seen flashes of, but you don't want to put all those expectations or all your eggs in his basket, or GervonDexter takes another big step forward and becomes a dominant interior rusher in a contract year. But to me, it feels more like, you'll get marginal improvement. They're not going to be the worst pass rush in the NFL, but it's not going to be a strength of the defense. It's going to be a week in and week out. Some games will get the job done. Some games will be left feeling you just need a little bit more there. And you wonder about the trade deadline being right at the Bears bye week, if that wouldn't happen to be a great time to make one final splash for a playoff push halfway through the year.
Guys, we're joined by Lauren Cox. He is the host of the Locked on Bears podcast, and we're talking Bears football here on ShawnSierraSports on Sports Zone Chicago. Let's go to the offense. Are you surprised that the offense seems to be ahead of the defense, and there seems to be a good chemistry, a good feel between Caleb and his receivers?
I'm not surprised, and I'm trying to just decide whether I feel like I should be concerned about the defense or encouraged about the offense in that scenario.
Are you a glass half full or half empty kind of guy?
Right, exactly. So I think generally, you look at this offense, you essentially brought back 10 out of 11 starters, depending on how you want to define who's the starter or not. And really 10 of the 11 starters were all in Ben Johnson's offense before, if you include Khalif Raymond as one of those guys, right? But, all your tight ends, your 4 offensive linemen, your quarterback, your running back, and your receivers not named DJ Moore are back. Garrett Bradbury is the only new starter offensively that hasn't played in a Ben Johnson offense before. So it should make sense that those guys hit the ground running and are clicking a little bit more than a defense that has guys coming back off of injuries. You got free agent big additions in Kobe Bryant and Devin Bush that are brand new to this, and other guys just trying to get back up to full speed, and then other guys that are already hurt again. Edwards finally just came off the physically unable to perform list. Kyler Gordon is in and out of lineup. Noah Sewell's out. Elijah Hicks is out. Terrell Smith, you mentioned, just added to the injury list lately. So like when you've got backups and new faces and guys coming off of injury on defense, I'm willing to give them some patience and some grace to maybe a slower start there, whereas the offense is more of a well-oiled machine. But at some point, the defense has to catch up a bit more. I think we saw maybe one good defensive day, but was that just a bad day for the offense, or was that the defense starting to catch up? Because today was another not so great defensive day, and eventually you look around and wonder, hey, when are the good defensive days going to start coming here? Because clock is ticking on, hey, preseason games and regular season are around the corner.
Preseason games start next Saturday, not this Saturday, next Saturday. So we're talking about 10 days or so, 10 days-ish or so. So they need to get it out. But then that's what preseason is for. All right, because no one really gives a shit if we get blown out in the preseason. What they give a shit about is if we get blown out and adjustments are made and we find what people can and, more importantly, what they cannot do and place them in spots accordingly. Well, I know fans, a lot of us are meathead fans. We got it, but we have to temper our expectations because, yeah, this is a little different. There's a lot of people injured, a lot of new people on that defense, and it's going to take a minute for them to gel, just like it took a minute for everyone to gel last year in a new offense, and we saw it gelled pretty damn nicely toward the end of the season. And this is where it's a team concept. Offense is going to have to carry the defense, and we're not used to that in Chicago. Right? We're not used to that very much at all. It's usually defense carrying the offense, but it looks like it's going to be the offense carrying the defense. Speaking of that, there's a guy named Caleb who's our quarterback, and he's pretty darn good. Talk to me about what you see with him. Talk about the command that he has, the comfort level that he's feeling now, and how you think that translates to wins and to specific numbers. Most notably, 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns.
Yeah, to me, the big difference you're seeing already this season is just that sort of that confidence and the timing, right? And it's sort of confidence in his receivers to know that he's putting a ball in a specific spot at a specific time, and the receiver is there when and where he needs to be. And that just wasn't consistently happening enough last year at training camp at this time, where it's like it was so disjointed and disconnected, where there's just so many details that everyone is being asked to be perfect on. And certainly Caleb was not always the one putting the ball in the right place at the right time either, because he thought someone was supposed to be here and they thought they were supposed to be there, and it was a lot of balls hitting the ground, and not necessarily that it was a bad throw or inaccurate throw. It was just two guys not on the same page. But when everyone has been in this system for a full year and have run these same routes and these same concepts hundreds of times in the last 12 plus months, all of a sudden you just see everything kind of click a bit more. And that doesn't mean there's zero mistakes, but so many fewer than last year. And then you can start to,
they better be better.
like that I think is going to really manifest itself in a higher completion percentage, because how many of those incompletions last year were either miscommunications, drop passes, or throwaways when Caleb thought someone was going to be where they need to, they're not, so then he's got to extend the play and then no one's open and he's got to just dirt it. Like that's going to increase the completion percentage, which then increases the yards to the 4,000 mark, and probably a few of those are going to be touchdowns instead of incompletions as well. And all of a sudden everything starts to lift up just because everyone is more experienced and on the same page.
Do you care? Or first of all, who do you think is going to be the wide receiver one? All right, Rome Odunze is a top 10 pick. Luther Burden, you saw last year as a dog. Or do you even care if there's a wide receiver one? Do we even need a wide receiver one in this Ben Johnson offense?
Yeah, it does feel like it's becoming an outdated title, if you will. If you look around some of the best receiving cores in the NFL, the goal is to have more than one, right? Like you think about the Bengals. I mean, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, like Chase is still kind of like the number one wide receiver, but you'd rather just have a couple of really good players that it doesn't really matter as much. And I think the Lions comparison here is probably fair, even though Luther Burden is not exactly the same as Amon-Ra St. Brown and Rome Odunze is not exactly the same as Jameson Williams. But like in that offense, Jameson Williams is the outside X receiver, like lined up against the number one cornerback working vertically. And then, you've got Amon-Ra St. Brown in the slot, who ends up finishing with more targets, more yards, more catches, more touchdowns, and is kind of more of the go-to first option in the passing game, but not that traditional number one wide receiver. And so that's more or less what I'm expecting this year for Rome Odunze and Luther Burden, that I think Burden will probably be the guy who ends up finishing with better numbers, but Rome Odunze plays more of that traditional number one wide receiver role. So then it kind of is a blurry line, but I guess the default answer is that, hey, when it's 3rd and 3 and the ball's got to get out, it's probably going to either Luther Burden or Colston Loveland. Say maybe the lesser option there by comparison, but I hesitate to sleep on or discount Rome Odunze too much because he was already on pace to be a 1,000-yard receiver last year before that foot injury, and he's playing like he never had a foot injury at all so far at training camp.
I don't it concerns me is not the word. He is one that I really want to watch because of his mentality, his perfectionist mentality. If you remember at the NFL Combine, he couldn't get that 3-cone drill down to a time that he wanted, and he was there late. It was like him and like 3 or 4 cameramen were the only ones there, while he's doing that. If he takes that same mentality in coming back from his injury, because it wasn't just the injury that slowed him down. It was the drops later. If you remember in the opening drive of the Rams game, he had that drop on the goal line. Those things, when you're a top 10 pick, those things haunt you. Now, if he comes back with a vengeance, what the heck is this offense going to look like?
Right? Like I think there's something there about Rome Odunze that we as the general football watchers, we don't appreciate enough what his skill set is able to do. Like we see Luther Burden, right? And it's speed, it's explosiveness, it's dynamic playmaking. It's easy for us to see oh, that's a superstar. Like that's where the hype builds. But Rome Odunze is not the fastest guy on the field. He's not slow, but he's not Luther Burden fast. And he's also not, 6'5", 225. He's not a giant either. And so it's not as sexy like his game when you talk about precision in route running and ability to separate. That's hard for us. There's not a really good Madden rating that Rome Odunze can be 99 at, except for awareness, and that's not fun or exciting. Whereas Luther Burden can have the 99 speed and the 99 acceleration. It's oh, that's a fun player. But Rome Odunze is that one that can just be that separator that always finds ways to get open. I'm not going to compare him to Justin Jefferson, but I think about that in terms of Jefferson's fast, but not Luther Burden fast. Jefferson's not huge, but not small. He's a good route runner, someone who gets open really easily, and then has good speed and ability after the catch too. So I just think it's that kind of skill set that until we see him do it at a high level, it's hard for us to kind of envision what a star Rome Odunze looks like. But he's got that mentality and that work ethic and the kind of traits that are really hard to teach a receiver to run routes that well and get open. And if he can get over the drops that I feel like were a reflection of, hey, my foot hurts and I'm taking all sorts of painkillers and other stuff and thinking about how every step this foot is a problem, and that all of a sudden I'm not thinking about catching the ball and I'm not playing fast and loose. To me, if that all kind of comes together where health equals better catching and concentration, then he is full speed ahead to be everything the Bears wanted from him as a top 10 pick at wide receiver.
He's Lauren Cox. He's the host of the Locked On Bears podcast. As always, great stuff, my friend. Do me a favor before you go, let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
Of course. I always appreciate you having me on. You can hear me 5 days a week over on the Locked On Bears podcast. And that's available on all the podcast platforms and YouTube. And then you can follow me on Twitter at Cox Sports One. Like you said, Fox Sports One with a C.
Great stuff, buddy. I appreciate your time. You have a great day. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you.
All righty. Guys, that's Lauren Cox of the Locked On Bears podcast. Gracious stuff with his time, man, and I appreciate every time we get to talk to him. Dude, got a chance to hang out with him a couple times. Really cool dude. He's tall, too. He's 6'2", 6'3". I was like, damn, dog, the hell? What? First time I met him, what the? I think he might be 6'3". I was like, tell him, fool. I'm 5'11". But I'm excited. There's a lot going on here with the Bears stuff, a lot going on with the defense. All right, that Kobe Bryant injury is huge. Reason being, it loses reps. It's putting different people in different positions for reps. Okay, so now look. Talk about Cam Lewis, moving him. So what happens when Kobe Bryant comes back now? So now you got to get Kobe Bryant some reps, and now you're in the middle of the season. We're talking week 5, week 6. We're in the middle of the season. How's he going to get his reps? Practices aren't what they are now. The glorified walkthroughs, you're not hitting in practice. You're not going full speed in practice. So you got to plug him in. He's a high price free agent. So then you're going to move a guy who's gotten comfortable in your position back to the position that he was most comfortable in, but doesn't have a lot of reps in this season because he was moved to a new position. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how things develop while Kobe Bryant's out, but then how they adjust when he comes back. That's important. That is important. So listen, we're going to take a quick break. Oh no, we'll go. You know what? We'll take a break at 10:30. Take a break at 10:30. We'll still talk Bears right here, and we'll go back to some baseball to close out the show. So yeah, moving people around, and once they get just when they get comfortable, like okay, go back to your old spot that you don't have reps in, that you don't have time in this preseason. And I'm not asking for a pity party. I'm not asking you to say, okay, it's just way of the NFL. That's what it is. Life in the NFL. You got to make adjustments, and and this is why veterans are so important, because you're going to need veterans who played multiple positions in the secondary, okay, to play at a high level in their new spot while Kobe Bryant is out. And then once they get put back in their original spot while they were signed, they need to play at a high level. Okay, so Dennis Allen's going to have to get real creative. That's why you get paid the big bucks, Dennis Allen. That's why you get paid the big bucks. You got to make those decisions. Someone actually put, I think, was that you, King Booker World? That this is why oh shoot, I missed it. This is a good chance for Al Harris to do wonders. Here it is. Yeah, Black Diamond. I'm sorry. This is where Al Harris gets to show he's an outstanding coach. I'm not too concerned as long as we have no further casualties and Kyler's ready to go. Yeah, Al Harris is gonna. You got to. What did Ben Johnson say? We're gonna coach better. You got to coach him up, kid. You got to coach him up. And I don't know if we'll have the same amount of takeaways. My thing is this: if we don't. We need a better pass rush. That's what we need. And you guys know as well as I do. I'm preaching to the choir here. But pass rush and secondary play go hand in hand. Okay? One definitely helps the other. Well, they each help each other. But if you have a better pass rush and you have aggressive corners, yeah, you can get more picks. Or if you just have good defensive back play like we did last year. All right, Nashawn Wright was out of position a couple times, but he used his length, his athleticism for a couple of picks. And we can never forget the one-handed one against DJ Metcalf against the Steelers last year. If you're on the sideline, recall that. Or in the corner of the end zone. It wasn't against Justin Jefferson. It was against Jordan Addison. Against the Vikings. Okay, he used his length, and this was before people knew about it. And he just snatched the ball, or intercepted the ball. Would have been a Vikings touchdown, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so we have there are ways. Now, if we can get a better pass rush with that same type of effort, we're going to be a force to be reckoned with. Okay? But we have to get that same type of effort. A lot of those plays were individual plays. It wasn't necessarily coached up by Al Harris. You have a jumping one-handed grab. I don't know how many times a coach talks to you about one-handed interceptions. You usually don't have a drill for that, that's for sure. Okay? So that was Nashawn Wright's own instincts. Now you got to get these cornerbacks, Tyreek Stevenson, Malik Muhammad, those guys to use their instincts. You've been playing cornerback a long time. DB a long time. You have to have some instincts that lead you to the ball. You might not be an interceptor per se, but there are instincts that lead you to get interceptions. This is where This is where Al Harris has to coach his ass off. I need you to do this in this system, but when the ball's in the air, I need you to make a play. I need you to be an athlete. I need you to be a all-pro, all-world defensive back when that ball's in the air. Okay, there's certain things you can do, but I need your athleticism to make sure that worst case scenario, you knock the ball down. Best case scenario, we pick it and go the other way. And that can be ingrained into this year's DBs. Because I'll tell you what, Jalen Johnson is ready. Jalen Johnson wants to make up for last season. All right, he had a poor season last year. He tore his groin off the bone. I don't know how he did that. Okay, but he did. So he was out for a while. Then he came back, and he wasn't too healthy. And it was like, what the hell? So he comes back, has an interception, remember, in the end zone, which was nice. But he wasn't healthy. He's healthy now. And when you get all these accolades that he's gotten, you get the big contract that he received, you want to show out. You want to show out. It's not King Booker World's birthday. I messed up. See, that's what you get, King Booker World, for bringing it up here. I made a mistake and said that to you. My bad. But you mentioned it here, and now everyone's wishing you a happy birthday. So DB is going to be a defensive. The secondary is going to be an interesting position to focus on. Very interesting. All right. They're going to get help from Devin Bush, who's got some really good speed for a linebacker. It's not as big as most linebackers, maybe like 225, 230. But his speed is something else, and he's a thumper. He's a thumper. So I'm anxious to see how that works out. Really do. And then I'm anxious to see how quickly this offense takes off. I mean, is it first series, boom, 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 down the field and score like a hot knife through butter? Is that what it is? Because that would be nice. Okay, that would be nice. And let's stop acting. Let's stop acting like we're surprised at this. Lawrence has said it. I've said it. They've had a whole year in this system and play 2 playoff games. So there should be no reason why we can't get set up quickly. We don't don't know where to go, running the wrong routes. There shouldn't be any of that. And there hasn't been to this point, but don't be so surprised. We realized last year that we had a great play caller. Okay? We had a quarterback who can do a lot of amazing things. Paired with that, what did you think was going to happen? You didn't think they were going to get comfortable. You didn't think they were going to get better. You didn't think, and then they brought back everybody except DJ Moore. And like Lawrence said, Khalif Raymond has already played in the Ben Johnson offense. So the wide receiver that you lose a wide receiver, but the wide receiver you bring in is one that's already played in this offense, so he doesn't need to be brought up to speed. He said the only new person for all intents and purposes is the center. That's it. So how do you not expect this offense to be better? How do you not expect this offense to look good? And I know that we're not used to that here in Chicago, but let's keep it real. Let's keep it a buck. Let's use common sense. When you started your job, you did not do things very efficiently. You had a lot of hiccups. You were unsure. Guess what? They're starting a new job. When your job implements new protocols, new rules, you have to figure out how to maneuver with them. That's what he did. And we saw it throughout the season and late in the playoff postseason how well this team can do. Now we get better. And there's been a lot of talk that said the Chicago Bears are perfect for regression. But if you're regressing, where are you regressing from? The fact that you were good. They're a candidate. I don't think they will. I don't think they will because they have a guy named Ben Johnson who just will not let that happen. The Ben Johnson effect is real. Say what you want, like it or dislike it. The Ben Johnson effect is real. And I love it. I don't think we're going to have a situation where the players feel like they can coast or they feel like they can rest in their laurels. Because really, what have you done? You won the NFC North. Excellent. You didn't win the NFC. You didn't represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. You didn't get to the Super Bowl. You didn't win the Super Bowl. So winning the NFC North is great. That's great. Is that going to be your claim to fame? You're going to hang your hat on that? We won the NFC North in 2025. That what you want? There's only one goal. Now, you can achieve other milestones on the way to that goal, but there's only one goal. Win the Super Bowl. Because, yes, you want to win the division so you can have a home game and maybe skip around. But it doesn't matter if you're a wild card and you play an extra game and you win the Super Bowl. Does it really matter? Do you care? No. That is the bottom line. Get to the Super Bowl and win it. Win the Super Bowl is the only goal. If the Bears hit other milestones, great. Nice. We'll celebrate. We'll have a little banner after we win the Super Bowl that says we are the NFC North champions. We'll enjoy the week off from the wild card. Okay. But the bottom line is one thing. Win it all. That's it. Drew says, how is Detroit picked to win the division? Because everyone says the Bears are a great candidate for recession, a regression. Both mean the same thing. They're both going backwards. I don't know if they are. I don't know if the Bears are. I don't think Detroit's going to win the division this year. I think Detroit is a good team. I think we're better. Detroit's the team that's beat us twice last year. I get it. Our offense will be much, much better. We'll be able to have a shootout with the Lions. And it might be a split. It might be a split. Okay? We might win one, lose one. That's okay. I don't care. We lost to the Lions twice last year. Lost to Green Bay once, lost to Minnesota once. All right, so we're 4-2 in the division. 2-4 in the division. Sorry. We're 2-4 in the division. Yeah, we still won the division. We still won the division. I want to know what people think about Detroit that has them winning the division that you don't see in the Bears. Because the Bears have every reason to be pissed off. They have every reason to feel that there's unfinished business. They have every reason to feel the Bears are on a mission. The Bears had the ball in overtime with a chance to go down, kick a field goal, or score and win. That's how close they were. And then they're only getting better. They're only settling into this offense, getting more comfortable with these calls, with the plays, with the scheme and the concepts. How do you not? Detroit's a good team. Chad Hutchinson should be back. Jared Goff has had a resurgence. Thank you, Ben Johnson. His career has really, really taken off the way he initially wanted it to. I know he got to a Super Bowl with the Rams and lost it. But he's a better quarterback now. Remember, they had Aaron Donald. They had who's a DB? Son of a biscuit. Can't think of his name. But they had a stud defense. So Jared Goff is a good quarterback. But we got a good quarterback too. We have a really good quarterback. In our ground game, second to none. I believe we were 4th in the NFL in rushing. It's pretty darn good. Stay there. Stay in the top 5. And I think Ben wants to stay there, and that's the cool part about it. He wants to stay there. He doesn't want it to go, okay, now we have all these receivers, we're going to go crazy. You know, I was thinking you can still have 1,000-yard receivers, or 2 of them, and a 1,000-yard rusher. You just got to score a lot of points. All right, you're just going to end up having to score a lot of points. You're going to be heavy on the run game, but it doesn't take very many catches to get 100 yards. Or in this system, 85, 87. Let me see. Let me do the math. Oh, shit. 59 yards is what it needs. Let me do it again. 1,000 yards divided by 17 games, 58.8. 59 yards is all you need a game to get 1,000. Shorty, you're a fool. He said, I just beat the Lions' ass in Madden last night, 48-0. I'm 15-2 heading into the playoffs, baby. And Malik Muhammad is rated the number 5 pick in the upcoming draft. Huh. We will finally be able to see an offense that runs efficiently. He says, One of the reasons I really don't care that much about percentage rate. I hear you. But think of this. Think of this, King Booker World. The more you complete the ball, the more you complete passes to your playmakers, how many more opportunities do you have to score? How many more opportunities? Because, it's not going to take Luther Burden a lot of chances to score. Khalif Raymond, you keep hitting him on those slots, on those slants, I should say. On the slants, the quick hitches or the corners or the goals. You keep hitting those guys and letting them run. Imagine hitting 70% of your passes to those type of explosive receivers. How many points will we put up a game if that happens? You hit 70% with targets like Rome Odunze, Luther Burden, Colston Loveland, Raymond, all these guys who could take the ball to the house. They can make house calls on a consistent basis, which is why Ben always preached high percentage, and give these receivers a catchable and runnable ball. Runnable. Yes, where they can catch it and just continue going. Because when you have the type of speed and playmaking ability that these receivers have, the higher the percentages, the less drops, the more chances they have to score because of their athletic ability. Patty, Monica, Jeremiah, good morning. Happy Wednesday, dear Shawn. That means Jeremiah must be watching. Patty, it's not King Booker World's birthday. I made a mistake. It's King Booker World's fault for putting it up there. So, again, let's take a quick break. On the other side, of the break, we'll wrap up this show with some baseball talk. All right, so don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. ShawnSierraSports on Sports Zone Chicago. Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
How do you take care of your mind health?
For my mental health, I meditate in the mornings. I have my dogs. They're the best.
I just find ways that help me just relax.
Finding things that make me happy, like being close to my family.
I meditate a lot and read books.
I have hobbies outside of the game. I'm able to switch off. I'm able to turn my brain off from the game of basketball.
Your mind health matters.
Your mind health matters.
It's a romance sport. What? It's a romance sport like that.
Your Marine Corps' way of life is to defend the American way of life. every day. No matter where we serve, we take a stand for our nation, for each other, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Here comes the pitch. High fly ball, hammered out towards left center. You can't forget it. Out of here. He crushed it. 97 turned around into the left center field bleachers, and the Cubs have evened the score. Swanson is 17th. It's 1-1.
Always ready to hit the fastball is Dansby Swanson, and he got one where he liked it. 401.
Line drive, base hit, right center field. Around third and in to score Swanson. Pete Crow Armstrong. Insurance. And the Cubs lead at 3-1. That is hammered right field. Nico. Out of here. Home run for Horner. It's 5-1.
Welcome back to ShawnSierraSports on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of the Marquee Network. Those are your boys, Northsiders. Those are the Cubs getting Wrigley jumping on a Tuesday, on a Taco Tuesday night on the north side. Jumping. Taking on the first place Dodgers, taking the first 2 games of the series, looking to go for the sweep today. Can they do it? Can they do it? We're going to find out. You know, the White Sox made a couple of nice deals yesterday. They traded for Luis Castillo before the deadline. We talked about that. But also Huáscar Brazoban, Joey Bart, and Brendan Doyle. Okay. Last night's ass whooping was just that, an ass whooping. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But here's the thing. It only counts as 1 loss. Cleveland lost yesterday. Minnesota lost yesterday. So we didn't lose any ground in the AL Central. Now, tonight, I have a feeling it's going to be different. I have a big-time feeling it's going to be different. Okay, the White Sox, I think, that's embarrassing what happened to them last night. So I'm thinking they're coming out ready to roll. Going up against Sonny Gray, it's not an easy pitcher to go against. But the Sox just went up against the hottest pitcher in baseball and blasted him for 9 runs. This team can put up runs. And I think we see that today. I'm hoping we see that today. All right, 1 game. The cool part that I love about this is I don't know if the White Sox have had a 3-game losing streak this year, or maybe it's only been 1, maybe 2. They don't lose a lot. All right, they get right back up on that horse. Okay, they flush it, and I can guarantee you that's what Will Venable told those guys. Flush it. It happens. We do it to teams all the time. 6, 8, 9, 10 runs. Bam, 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 bam. So don't look at it as anything else but a loss. That's all it was. Only counts once in the loss column. That's it. Yeah, Junior says, I love how they made ESPN, he's talking about. I love how they made a story last night of the Dodgers pitcher like he won the game. Yeah, on the notifications, they talk about Tariq Skubal with 6 punch-outs in his new Dodger era. They don't say he lost. Could have said Tariq Skubal lost despite XYZ. It was all about him. But you know how the big conglomerate people get. Remember, now ESPN bought the NFL Network. They bought Major League MLB TV. They just own everything. So their narrative is what you're going to hear and going to see. Sucks, but money talks. And he who owns the most, he who owns the media, controls the narrative. So ESPN said we're gonna pump up our people the way we like, not the way you like. But I digress. Looking forward to the White Sox today. Trying to get off that little schneid, or just to get that bitter aftertaste of the ass whooping they got last night. Get that out of their mouths and start a new winning streak. Start a new winning streak. Black Diamond says, I don't watch ESPN. I hear you. There's a lot of BS. I'm not a big fan of ESPN because of the fact that they seem to have an agenda against my White Sox. I don't understand it. They just seem to not like my White Sox. And you should report fairly on things. Remember when the Cubs were winning the World Series, said World Championships in the last, for the Chicago teams, they didn't have the White Sox in 05. And they said, oh, yeah, don't forget the White Sox won in 05. We just didn't want to upset some of the Cub fans. I'm like, fuck those Cub fans. Tell them to win their own World Series. To purposely leave out the White Sox, when it said City of Champions, to leave out the White Sox in the 05 World Series title is unethical and fireable. That's me in my issue with ESPN. Bastards. Anyway, the Northsiders. You guys got a chance, baby. You got a chance to sweep the Dodgers. Here's the thing. And here's why you should be concerned. Every team goes through a slump. Now, if the Dodgers lose today, they will have lost 6 straight games. You don't think that's just going to end quickly? You don't think they're going to turn around and be like, oh, snap, we can't do this. We are the Los Angeles Dodgers, two-time defending World Series champions. I'll tell you what, they're going to go on a heater. The Dodgers, if the Dodgers lose today, and it might not start with the next game, the next series, they're going to go on a heater. It might be 6 in a row, 8 in a row, whatever. Or they'll just start winning 2 out of 3, 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 boom. 2-1, 4-2, 6-3, 8-4, 10-5, 12-6, 14-7, 16-8. You start winning at a 667 winning percentage, now you're doing something. They'll probably take a series or 2 in there. This team is about to go on a heater before the playoffs. And that is what you do not want. You do not want the Dodgers to get hot right before the playoffs. You got to go up against Freddie Freeman. You got to go up against Mookie Betts. And you got to go up against a guy named Shohei something or other. I forgot his last name. On the mound and in the batter's box. They are going to come out of this. If they get swept, even if they don't get swept today, this could be the coming out party. No Diddy. This could be this could be the beginning of them starting their streak or getting hot. It really could be. So we'll see. I like the guys that I'm telling you, I was pissed off when I heard you guys traded for Clay Holmes. I'm like, oh, that was the White Sox guy. I would have loved to have had him atop our rotation. But the Cubs, now you guys, man, let me tell you something. You got a nice little squad. You got a nice little squad there, boys. Did I didn't. Son of a biscuit. I thought I copied it, but I didn't. Matt Brown, Shota. Not to mention, now you just got Clay Holmes. You also have Kevin Gossman. I mean, your rotation is different now. It's different. Now you can compete. Yeah, I hear you, Black Diamond. He says, I hear you, but they seem to struggle against lefties. And Shawn, you know how I feel about trying to buy championships. How would you want it, though? Would you want these moves happening in the offseason? Or do you want to strictly draft and develop? Because at some point, every championship team has some free agents. What's your limit to the number of free agents before you saying, we're buying a championship? What's this? The limited number of trade deadline signings that you would accept to say you're not trying to buy a championship. You're trying to win a championship. If these are the moves that make it, these are the moves that make it. Are you okay with the Aroldis Chapman signing 2016? That was a free agent. That was right before the deadline. Actually, I want to say July 25th before the deadline because it was my birthday. Black Diamond says a mixture. I'm not saying I'm against going to get a star or two. Yeah, but you got to look at your situation, bro. Your situation, how many freaking pitchers went down? You needed them. How many of your pitchers went down? Cade Horton? When's he coming back? You know what I mean? Like, think about all the pitchers. What happened to your pitching staff was insane. You needed, if you didn't get injured, if your Cubs did not get injured, your pitchers did not get injured, it's a different story. You got quality, you had Cade, you still had Shota. Jameson Taillon was better. I don't know what the hell happened to him. Colin Ray was okay. But you had 7 starters when the season started. And 4 of them, 5 of them got hurt at one point or another? So you're just going to restock the cupboard. It's all you're doing. But if you can restock the cupboard with quality pitchers that could be on in a starting rotation, why not do it? Desperate times call for desperate measures, because apparently Jed thinks you guys can go for it. You got the leading candidate for MVP. You got guys getting hot. Dansby Swanson's getting hot. Nico Horner's white hot. Seiya Suzuki's red hot. Ian Happ is hot. You guys are getting hot. It's the time to go for it. So do what you got to do. Fill that void. And that void that you had was a pitching staff, because they're decimated by injuries. Decimated. You know, when people talk about, and me being one of the Sox are a year ahead of schedule, you don't know if you're going to get back there. First of all, they haven't even gone anywhere. They're just atop the division. There's games left, 50 games left. But if there is a chance, why wouldn't you do it? Look at us in 05. We had a Jim Thome in 06. We thought, oh man, it's going to be great. We didn't even win the division. We didn't get back to the World Series. We didn't, nothing. It was boop, one and done. That was it. Look at you Cub fans. You went to one World Series. And you did it, and you did it the right way. You drafted, developed, or you traded for prospects, developed them, because none of those guys were developed when you got them. They brought Brizzo over. He fought Jay and Jed and Theo, wanted him. They brought him wherever they went for a couple of years. Chris Bryant, you were able to draft him, but Javi Baez, Addison Russell. And Theo's motto was you draft position players and pay for the pitching. That's what he did. So, I mean, are you not cool with that either, Black Diamond? You know what I mean? Like, they paid for John Lester. They paid for who was the other guy? The other white dude who said, I came here to chew gum and kick some ass, and I'm out all of chewing gum. Can't remember who the hell that was. Who was that pitcher? And then most definitely at the trade right before the trade deadline was Aroldis Chapman. And you gave away your number one prospect in Gleyber Torres. Would you take that trade back is my question. Because after that, they had one more season in 2017. You know what I mean? So you want to get a title. Sports nowadays, due to free agency, it's very difficult to keep a team. The Dodgers found a loophole. They'll pay you down the road. Well, guess what? Other teams can do that too. Other teams are choosing not to do it. That's the issue. Hell no, you're not giving that World Series title back. I know. I knew the answer because I would do the same thing. So if other teams are refusing to do, once the Dodgers showed you the loophole, you should use it. Because let me ask you a question. You tell me what athlete is not going to want to get paid when they're done playing. Tell me. You tell me what athlete's not going to want to get a couple of $1 million a year when they're done playing. Every year. That's an annuity. That's what it is. It's an annuity. It's an annuity. Baseball's annuity. They're pushing that shit down the road to 2037, 2038, 2039. You got money now. You can still go crazy because in 2037, 28, or 2039 is going to start another 6, 8, 10 years of getting multi-millions of dollars for a year. So you mean to tell me other teams can't do that? That's what Tarek Scoble said. I want to say Tariq from Power. Tarek Scoble. Sounds like a black name, but he's not black. He said any team could have traded for me, but the Dodgers did. So why are more teams doing it? You put it in an escrow account, you let it grow, and it's not even all your money. It's some of the interest that you get to pay the players. The money's going to grow. So other teams, the Dodgers showed you the blueprint. Other teams are refusing to adopt it. You could have got Schoolboy, Cub fan, the Cubs. Imagine him in that rotation. Imagine him in the white, in the blue pinstripes. The royal blue pinstripes. Imagine that if you had done that. So I know you hate it. We all hate it because they're the evil Empire West. They're the West Coast edition of the evil Empire. The Yankees are the East Coast. They're the West Coast. But if everyone has the same option and those are the rules that are legal, why aren't other people doing it? Man, this show was fun. I want to thank my guest, Lauren Cox, for coming on. Talking Bears football. I want to thank you guys. Great conversation, great interaction. Black Diamond, Junior, Patty, Cornelius, Shorty, King Booker World, the vet, Mr. Southside himself, Crooked Commish. If I missed anyone, my apologies. I thank you for your Levette Lee. I don't know if I mentioned you. If not, Levette Lee, thank you. I appreciate the love and the support that I get every freaking show. I do not, nor will I ever take it for granted. John Lackey, there you go. Thank you, Junior. That's the picture I was talking about. John Lackey. Here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. I'm all out of chewing bubblegum. I'm all out of bubblegum. So don't be ashamed. Don't be mad. It's a different world now. It's a different way. It's different. That's all it is. You know, for us, we wanted to draft a developer, go get them in the offseason and have them gel, and that's how we did. I mean, look at, we look what the Hawks did. They couldn't get to the cup. What they do? They get Marion Hossa. And I know you're saying one or two pieces here, but they just, Real quick, Shawn, I'll let you know about the watch parties. Oh, okay. All right. Cool. Well, listen, you guys have a great day. It's going to be another beautiful day here in Chicago. High of about 82. Some rain. There's supposed to be rain. It's overcast out here in Orland Park. I don't know what's going on in the city, but it's overcast here. So you guys have a great day. Wild Wing Wednesday. I might even go to Output or Burger Poppy for some wings today. That's crazy. Actually, I got to get my car back from the shop. My car's in the shop. So if that don't get done today, I ain't going anywhere. I'm going to the patio restaurant where there's a Pizza Hut Express 2 doors down from the patio. And Palermo's on 159th. They deliver. If my car ain't ready today. So I might not be going into the city. Well, listen, you guys have a great day. Enjoy the beautiful weather. Let your lovers know you love them, because tomorrow is promised to no one. Okay? Hey, guys, there's no need to wait. We don't got to wait till football season starts. Go get your Sports Zone Chicago swag. Get your Sports Zone Chicago hat, hoodies, quarter zips. Get your Bears Victory Monday t-shirts, your Sports Zone Chicago script t-shirts. Get your Cigar Fanatic t-shirts. Get your Coaching Matters t-shirts. Get your FGB t-shirts. Get your Good, Better, Best t-shirts, your Good, Better, Best hoodies. Get all the stuff. You see the QR code that'll take you there. Get your stuff, get your gear. Let's rock out in cool Sports Zone Chicago swag this football season. And everyone's going to be like, where'd you get that? Where'd you get that? SportsZoneChicago.com. All right, people. So for everyone, all my peoples, I love you and I appreciate the love and the support that you give me every freaking show. All right. Have a great day. Let your loved ones know you love them because tomorrow's promised to no one. Get out there. Make memories. All right. So from everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Guess what? Your boy is out.
Come on, laced up,